Hello and welcome back. Thank you for joining me today. Let's talk about some very, very fundamental ideas here in A Course in Miracles. And these are ideas that we find ourselves returning to over and over again. We need them. Quite simply, we need them. As adult learners, it's very, very easy for us to get swept away by life, by all of our responsibilities in the world, at home, at work, our bills that we have to pay, and people that need us, dogs and cats that need us. There are so many different demands on our time as we run amok here, supposedly doing life. So it's very, very important, first of all, that you're taking the time out of your own busy schedule to pay attention to your spiritual practice. That's very important. And for that, I thank you. Every living thing thanks you, in fact. Just to set aside a few minutes to listen to the voice of our inner teacher, the Holy Spirit, is of great and inestimable value. We can't even imagine how important it really is. So let's come back to a couple of foundational principles here as we go through this material and rehash these ideas that we've seen before. I mean, this is spirituality, no matter what tradition you practice. And it doesn't have to be this course in order for you to benefit from this message. This is true of every single one of these videos. Yes, they're about A Course in Miracles. No, you don't have to be a course student at the moment to benefit greatly from them. Because you're here for a reason. Consider that. Out of all the content that exists here on YouTube, you're here. You found this video, or it found you. Somehow you're here. There's a message for you from your inner teacher. Caveat, you may have to keep watching if you haven't heard it yet. And as always, I invite you to do just that. Let's talk about this idea of joining that the Course talks about in many places, text, workbook, manual for teachers, all over the place. The idea of a holy relationship. Okay, well, we form many relationships in life. I mean, we do. We have our own intimate personal relationships with a partner or a spouse, perhaps. Maybe you're married, maybe you're in a committed relationship. Yeah, those relationships, relationships with our kids, if you have them, with our family members, with all of our colleagues at work, and people that we live near, our neighbors, people in our town or city or state, country, province, whatever. We form multiple relationships all of the time. So when this course talks about a holy relationship, at first we think, okay, well, what does that actually mean? Well, the essence of this is that you see someone else's interests as your own. It sounds extremely simple, and it's very, very profound. That's true of all these ideas in A Course in Miracles. They're repeated in multiple different ways, and you may gain exposure to them on multiple different occasions because you never really know. It might be today that the light bulb comes on and you get it, which is huge. You may have had this experience before. I suspect that all of you have, maybe not with this course, but with other spiritual traditions. I really do. I think that you know what this is like. And maybe it's been a while. Maybe you think, oh, okay, I'm overdue. Yeah, well, that may be so. The holy relationship is one in which we see someone else's interests as our own. Just that. Now, you might think, okay, well, that sounds obvious. Yes. And of course, we run off having said that. Yeah, it's obvious. We do the exact opposite. Yes, over and over again. We pass judgment on people. So easy to do and habitual. Yeah. We blame people for what we think is our lot, our plight, our quandary in life. It's their fault. It's his fault. It's her fault. It's the government's fault. It's this opposition political party's fault, for example, right? We're always projecting blame. And yeah, it sounds obvious to say a holy relationship is one in which you see someone else's interests as your own. When we think about it, we have no problem thinking about the fact that we all desire happiness, peace. We do. Each and every one of us, we all want the same thing. And what's very interesting and very foundational about A Course in Miracles is it spells out what that thing really is, the peace of God. We all want the peace of God. You don't even have to believe in the idea of God or acknowledge that God exists at all. You don't have to. It doesn't matter if you do or don't. In fact, we can deny reality all we want, and we've been doing it. That's why we appear to be one of these little contraptions. We've all done it, but we could all choose not to right now. It's the beauty of present moment. So, yes, present moment awareness. It's big, it's critical. We all want the same thing because that's all that really is. God is the only reality. There are not very many spiritual traditions in the world that state that the only reality. All else is illusion. This is illusion. However, this is not me. The physical body is not you either. There is only the peace of God. That's all there is. So, yes, quite simply, it's all we want. There are many ways of looking at this. We all want to go home, is one way, so to speak. We all want to wake up. We all want and yearn for the peace of God because we recognize it's what we really are, which you've always known. Doesn't mean at all that you've always acknowledged that. And perhaps you're not right now, and that's absolutely fine. No problem. You never know how these ideas are actually going to land for you. People run the gamut from tremendous relief and confirmation of something they've just always known, but never really been able to express. That may be one reaction. Another may be abject denial. You might think this pixelated image on your screen is full of it. So what? You might think this course is full of it and put it down and never look at it again. Now, there are people that start this, they take a look at it and then put it away for a while, which is fine. You may have done that and discover that that big blue book sitting on your shelf keeps calling you, saying, pick me, pick me. Don't you want to look at this a little bit more? After all, you bought this. There it is. What's inside this big blue book? Maybe you can relate to that experience. I mean, we have no problem saying, okay, we all want the same thing, but we don't go about life practicing that. We don't go about life maintaining that in our mind. How do you do it? True forgiveness, as this course teaches it. Despite people's aberrant behaviors, I mean, really, definitely, despite all of the things that they say, that they post on social media, despite all of the hatred that people spew out there into the world, and it's thick and it's ever present. You don't have to look far to see it. We're invited here as we study and practice this material to want peace and only peace for everyone else, our brother, singular. We're invited to want only peace for our brother. It's then that peace will be given to you. When you want only peace for your brother, that's when peace will be given to you. What you want for him, you receive. With that, I don't know if the coffee grinder that Cindy has just turned on right behind me is broadcasting here, but it's worth a digression. We'll come back to that major point that I just made. It's worth a digression because this is something that we personally hold sacred, our morning coffee time, which includes reading this course. It includes discussing this course, often journaling, meditation, just relaxation. It's really, we've found, the only way to begin the day. So the message in this is whatever works for you, if you have a period of time, maybe in the morning, maybe in the middle of the day, maybe at night, where you can deliberately set some time aside to devote to this material or any other spiritual practice that you may have, it's really beneficial. Okay, back to the main point. What you want for your brother, you will receive. What you want for him, you'll receive. Let's think about this for a minute. If you want him to suffer, who's suffering? You are. I mean, when we wish people ill, first off, we might get a temporary little rush, like a sugar high, and then crash. I mean, that's one way of looking at it. You might feel immediately justified, but it's ego clinging. What you want for your brother, you receive. So, do you look at him and want peace for him? This can be a major challenge. That's where forgiveness comes in, because you look at people that don't see things the way that you do, or you look at people that may have harmed you and greatly. Yeah. And you may not be able to go there right now, which is fine. We start with what's right in front of us, with what you're able to do. Is that forgiving someone else for some other thing? Is it forgiving yourself for stubbing your toe? Just an example, right? We start with what we're able to forgive and we forgive it and we keep going. There's no difference between forgiving yourself as you stub your toe and it hurts, because it does hurt, of course, and forgiving historical dictators, current dictators and world leaders, your abusive ex political parties that disagree with you and have passed laws and policies that harm your interests and stuff. There's no difference. That's what is meant by the very first sentence of chapter 1 of this course. There is no order of difficulty in miracles. They're all the same. Why? Even though the outward form may differ, the content is exactly the same. The heart of the matter, the essence, the idea, the meaning is completely the same. In our forgiveness, we're overlooking this supposed separation and seeing our brother as ourself. We're seeing his interests, her interests, their interests as our own. It's very powerful. That's how we do it. And we do it and we do it until we discover, hey, we're able to forgive our abusive acts. Hey, we're able to forgive this political figure. I use that as a very frequent example because it's always in our face here in the world, isn't it? So eventually you find your forgiveness broadens and becomes more generalized. This is how it works. What you want for your brother, you receive yourself. There is no separation of any kind. So when people say that someone else is you, that your brother is you, that is true. Yes. So what would you give yourself? What would you wish for yourself? Peace or condemnation? Mm. Maybe one way of thinking about it. Perhaps the next time you're tempted to judge somebody, which may be happening right now. I mean, you may be judging pixelated image on your screen, which is all you're looking at, by the way. It's an assemblage of electronic dots constellated in the shape of a middle-aged man from Arizona, whatever that means. Not much. When something connects for you, it's the Holy Spirit talking. Always. It's the Holy Spirit that points you to that big blue book sitting on your shelf that may have been sitting there for years and years, saying, open this up. Or maybe directing you to a website with this material on it, because there's plenty of online material out there on the course. The course itself appears online as well. There are many ways to access it. Jesus knows what he's doing, after all. And God does not choose his channels wrongly. You are one of those, by the way, which you've always known. So, whatever you wish for your brother, you receive. Let's just think about that today. It's very important. And we can catch ourselves judging. And when we do forgive yourself for dreaming this, forgive whatever appears on the surface of life, on the screen of life, whatever your brother is currently doing or thinking, or even if you think about it, just at random, forgive. It's very handy and it's very critical. It is the essence of this practice. All right. So questions are, of course, always welcome. There have been a number of really, really excellent questions here recently, right here in the comment thread on YouTube, and it's the perfect place to do this. My aim here is to share the Holy Spirit with you. And of course, you take what you're intended to take from the message. and also to serve as a guide. So, if I can be of any help or assistance to you with questions related to this course or spirituality in general, I'm more than happy to do that. So, please feel welcome to leave questions here. I see the thread, the comment thread, I check it frequently. So, yeah. And if you have not yet subscribed, please do go ahead and join us. That's the prompt in the corner of your screen right over here. And well, the channel has several videos that appear every week because there's always something to talk about on our spiritual journey, isn't there? Okay. So, with that, I thank you for joining me, and I will talk to all of you soon.